course, I don't know about you, but today's modern day police seem about as woke as, I don't know, an eco-protester maybe. Especially with the way they want to clamp down, it seems often, on hurty words. But now let's just say something's happened that could mean a very swift end to all their woke activities, because let's face it, the police should never, in my opinion, have been politicised in the first place. I mean, they are there to uphold the law, aren't they? And that law is the law, regardless of what religion you are, what race you are, and what you believe in. All the rules are the same, and therefore it should be enforced the same. So just what is going on then? Well, apparently according to this article, it says that there's a Tory bid to force police into recording the biological sex of criminals, which, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that has been the way for generations, hasn't it? Where did all this nonsense begin with? Someone must have said, oh, hang on a minute, do they feel like their biological sex? If not, I'll tell you what, how about replace that with how they actually feel, which is just a bit crazy, isn't it? Especially, let's face it, with ones that have been convicted of a sexually related crime, because at the end of the day, blokes should be in blokes' prisons and women should be in women's prisons for the safety of them all, surely. But it's not just the police, because police and doctors will be required to record the sex of offenders and patients rather than their gender under Conservative plans to be debated in Parliament this week. And I can imagine, I don't know about you, but I can imagine Reform would also be backing this policy, because it does strike as a bit of good old-fashioned common sense, which unfortunately does seem to be gone out of the window over the last few years, eh? The party will attempt to force the government to accept the recommendations of the independent review into sex data, which found that confusion between biological sex and gender identity had led to safeguarding problems, which, yeah, it would do, wouldn't it? Surely. Especially, as I said, for people who are waiting to go into prison, like that court case in Scotland where a bloke, from what I remember, went into a prison full of women, even though he's accused, or convicted rather, of rape. It just seems absolutely crazy, doesn't it, that was even allowed to happen. But although, if I remember rightly, that did lead to the downfall of Nicola Sturgeon. But anyway, Tory peers will introduce an amendment on the data bill in the House of Lords on Wednesday, which would force public bodies to record sex, meaning male or female, only based on the sex at birth. The Supreme Court ruled last month, of course, references that sex and equality legislation were to biological sex, and that a person cannot change their sex with a gender recognition certificate. The ruling ended years of debate about the exact meaning of the Equality Act and whether the provisions afforded to women in law also applied to transgender women. You know, the ones with meat and two veg, shall we say, eh? But it also sparked a fresh row in the Labour Party about transgender rights and whether the party should go further to protect women's spaces in law. I personally think that there should be no more unisex toilets or unisex changing rooms. It should be male and female, and therefore surely everyone is protected. And Keir Starmer, no sir to me, even though the article says it, or Sir Slimy, how about I call him that, eh? Has previously been criticised for suggesting that 1 in 1,000 women has a penis. Well, surely if he thinks that, he must have a penis on his head, in my opinion. And arguing that the statement of trans women are women was actually the law. Well, this court case has proved you wrong, Keir. Oh dear, what a shame. Hopefully there'll be a lot more court cases to come, which will prove Labour wrong, eh? The party also said that a vote in Parliament would force Labour to show it is not in hock to trans activism, although strangely, according to this, the government is not expected to accept the amendment. Yes, because obviously, even though they should accept it, in my opinion, it would make Keir Starmer look even more like a penis, and unfortunately, at least with this version of the Labour Party, they do seem to be putting party ahead of country, and that should never be allowed to happen, in my opinion. Keir really does need to accept this amendment and actually let the police go back to what they always should have been doing in the first place, fighting crime. And I am not talking about hurty words on Facebook. I am talking about all the other crimes and record people in the sex that they were born in. Anyway, what do you think about this? Let me know down in there in the comments and subscribe for more, because I will be back very, very soon.